Today, we're going to tackle a really big question, something that's on a lot of network engineers' minds. What if your network could practically run itself? It sounds a little like science fiction, I know, but we're going to break down how it's becoming a reality as we demystify one of the biggest names in the game, Versa SD-WAN.
Now seriously, keep that question in your head as we go through this. Because think about it, our digital world is just getting crazier, right? We've got cloud apps everywhere, people working from home, and a constant barrage of security threats. The idea of a network that simplifies all that for you, that automates itself, it's not just a nice to have anymore, it's becoming absolutely essential. And that's really the core mission behind what Versa is trying to do.
All right, so how do we get to that self-driving network? Well, like with anything, you gotta start with the foundation. We need to nail down what Versa SD-WAN actually is before we get to all the cool stuff it can do.
So at its heart, Versa SD-WAN is all about using software to build and manage your wide area network. The whole point is to connect all of your different locations, from a tiny branch office to your massive data centers and even your cloud environments, and do it securely, reliably, and, without breaking the bank.
Now to really get how this works, you've got to think of it as two separate networks, one stacked right on top of the other. First, you have what's called the underlay. These are just the physical internet connections you're already paying for, your broadband, your LTE, maybe some MPLS. Think of these as the actual physical roads out there. Then, on top of all that, Versa builds the overlay. This is a whole web of private, encrypted virtual tunnels. This is your network. It's like having your own private, super intelligent traffic system that finds the absolute best route for your data, completely avoiding all the traffic jams and potholes on the public roads below.
Okay, so if the overlay is this amazing private highway system, what's acting as the central traffic control? The GPS for the whole thing. Let's pop the hood and take a look at the brains of the operation, the components that make all the decisions.
This central command hub, in the biz, they call it the headend, is really made up of three key players. You've got the Versa Director, Versa Analytics, and the Versa Controller. Each one has a very specific and very important job to do.
First up is the Versa Director, and you can just think of this as your command center. It's your single pane of glass for everything. This is where you go to configure new devices, push out policies, monitor the health of the network. Basically, this is where you tell the network what you want it to do.
Then we have Versa Analytics. Now, if the Director is your command center, then Analytics is your intelligence division. It's a monster of a big data platform that just sucks in and crunches tons of information from your network. It gives you incredible visibility into traffic patterns, security alerts, and historical trends. It's how you know what's actually happening out there. And last but not least, we have the Versa Controller. This is kind of the unsung hero of the whole operation, the network's traffic cop. It works tirelessly in the background, managing that overlay of tunnels we talked about. It builds them, maintains them, and makes sure every single device knows the best, most current path to get to every other device.
This slide just nails the difference between the two main platforms you'll interact with. The Director is your control panel. You use it to do things, like deploying a new firewall rule. Analytics, on the other hand, is your business intelligence tool. You use it to know things, like figuring out why your video calls were choppy last Tuesday. One is for taking action, the other is for gaining insight. It's a really important distinction.
Okay, so we've got the brains of the network all figured out. But how do we actually get things connected? How do we bring the network to life and get, say, a brand new branch office to join this whole intelligent fabric? This is where one of the most powerful and frankly coolest features comes into play. Zero-Touch Provisioning, or ZTP, and it's pretty much as simple as it sounds. All someone has to do at a new branch is plug in the new device and connect it to the internet. That's it. From there, the device phones home to the Versa Director, authenticates itself, and automatically pulls down its entire configuration. And bam! Just like that, it's a secure, fully functioning part of the network, and nobody had to type a single line of code on site. And that's the bottom line, right here. The number of manual configurations you need to do on-site to get that new branch up and running is zero. A big, fat zero. Just think about what that means. It's the difference between taking a whole year to roll out 100 new sites versus doing it in a few weeks. It's a total game changer.
And because this is all defined in software, your network doesn't have to be rigid. You can build whatever layout or topology makes the most sense for your business. You want a classic hub and spoke? Done. You need a full mesh where every site can talk directly to every other site? No problem. Or any kind of hybrid you can dream up in between.
Okay, so we've built the foundation and we've connected all our sites with some incredible speed. Now we get to the really exciting part. This is where we get the intelligent in intelligent network. How do we make this thing truly smart? How does it start making decisions all by itself?
It all starts with vision. I mean, to make smart decisions, the network first has to be able to see what's actually flowing through it. It does this with a technology called Deep Packet Inspection, or DPI. This is some powerful stuff that lets the network look inside the data to identify the specific application. It's not just looking at an address. It knows, hey, this is a Zoom call, or that's a Salesforce update, or this is just somebody streaming cat videos on YouTube. So once the network has that vision, once it can identify every single application, it can then start making really smart choices using what's called application-aware routing. Basically, you, the network admin, set the policies based on what's important to your business, and the network handles the rest, automatically executing those policies every second of every day to make sure every app gets the performance it needs. Let's just look at this table for a perfect real-world example. Say you're on a super important video call, and your main internet link suddenly gets all laggy. Versa sees that, it identifies the traffic as a high-priority video call, and boom, it instantly steers it over to a better-performing link, probably before you even noticed there was a problem. At the same time, it might see a big but not urgent data backup running and decide, hey, let's send that over the cheaper, slower link to save some money. That's the network making smart, automated decisions for you in real time. And this intelligence isn't just for routing traffic, it's also huge for security, using a concept called service chaining. This is really powerful. It means you can create a policy that says, for example, all traffic coming from the guest Wi-Fi must first go through the next-gen firewall, and then it has to be inspected by the URL filter before it's allowed out to the internet. It's a way to make sure your security rules are always enforced, automatically, no matter what. Okay, let's zoom out and pull all these pieces together. We've gone over the foundation, the brains, the automated connections, and the intelligence that makes it all run. So, what's the big takeaway? Why does any of this really matter?
Well, when you put it all together, what you get is a network that is just fundamentally different. You get incredible automation that just slashes the amount of manual work you have to do, letting you roll out new sites in days instead of months. You get real intelligence that automatically makes your critical apps run better. You get security that's baked right into the DNA of the network, not just some box you bolted on later. You get total visibility to understand exactly what's happening everywhere. And you get the flexibility to build the network your business needs right now and to change it for whatever comes next.
And that brings us right back to where we started, doesn't it? In a world where everything just keeps getting more and more complex, more cloud providers, more apps, more threats, shouldn't your network actually get simpler to manage? That's the whole idea here. It's about fighting complexity with intelligent automation, so your team can stop putting out fires and actually start driving the business forward. Kind of makes you think, right? Today, we're going to tackle a really big question.